I think it's right.
Is this the same recording? Because the time, look at the time.
I did stop it, but I don't know. I think it's a different recording.
Okay.
Yeah, are you starting?
Okay. Okay. So I'll just give a. So this is part of the editorial that I have written. It's still in the draft mode, which I'll publish it later. It's for the month of August. So I'll just give a brief timeline events that happened in this month in terms of four main areas: business tech, economy, and finance. So in this area, what are the key events or noteworthy events of this month? So I'll just go over a few topics. So it won't be much. It won't be detailed, but it will contain few topics which I'll go over briefly. So I'll start with Google's event. So on 13th of March, I think so it was 13th of March, Google had their event, which they call it as Made by Google. So where they released a new range of Pixel phones, and they also mentioned some updates about Gemini AI. So yes, so one notable thing about this, in terms of software, it was the Gemini AI, and which they actually mentioned back in Google I/O as well. But one new feature that they demonstrated was the Gemini Live, which uh, is similar to the one that ChatGPT demonstrated a few, I think so it was in June. It is similar. That means you can have a conversation with the AI. So that is one of these highlights. And from the hardware point of view, it was the Pixel phones. And I think so. I watched Marcus Brownlee's video, and he said that this is one of the this is actually Google's hardware are actually as a flagship level, or I'm not flagship level. What I don't remember the term exactly. Means at the level of the top tier of phones, as compared to if you compare Samsung's S24 and an iPhone. So even means Google is finally catching up to those levels. So that's what he tried to say. So why that's important? So if you look at the larger picture in terms of Google, so in their recent earnings, I think so it was released in end of July 2024 of the recent quarter. Each quarter means 3 months. So for the past 3 months earnings, they earned $64.8 billion, of which 76% of their earnings came from advertising. So
76%.
yes, 76 means almost three-fourth of the earnings comes from advertising. All from advertising through Google search, I think so, even YouTube ads, and all sorts of whatever the varieties of ads that they have. So three-fourth of the revenue comes from advertising. But it means that it's still majorly an advertisement-driven company. So that is their major source of revenue. And so for a company to be resilient, the objective is to have as many sources of revenue as possible, but not while at the same time maintaining their expertise in their areas. So if so so because if you have only one source of revenue, so that means that you are very vulnerable. What if something happens to that source of revenue? What if in case of Google, what if some kind of new regulations come that you can't show as a certain kinds of restrictions are put in how you can show ads. So it will greatly affect their revenue stream because that's the major one. So if you can diversify, that's how you can control that risk or rather mitigate that risk. So what are the other areas of uh, revenue? So again, out of these 64.8 billion, uh, so as I've said, it was around 34, around what was it I said? Oh, sorry, it wasn't not it. The total revenue is not 64.8 billion. The total revenue is 84.7 billion, out of which 64.8 billion is ad revenue.
Mm.
That yes. So yes. So for now, let's talk about the other forms of revenue. If you look at the next, apart from advertising, the second highest is 10 billion dollars, which comes from cloud services. So they have various kinds of both, I think, so enterprise and consumer level cloud services through their Google Cloud platform. So that generates 10 billion US dollars. And the third highest is, and they have packaged three different areas together, which they have termed it as subscription platforms and devices. These three together comprise generates 3.9 billion US dollars. So it's almost 1/9. Yes, almost one. That means around 11% comes from this kind of things. So yes, so my point is that if Pixel phone does good, so that creates a new and a different source of uh, revenue for them. So ad revenue is already there, and apart from ad, the second highest is cloud services. So they have another one. So third major could be this one, hardware, like I say, smartphones and so and that category. So in this way, if they can put their efforts in there, they can uh, continue to diversify their sources of revenue. So that's the takeaway from my side. Do you have anything to add into this? Or
Nothing
any
really.
questions?
I also saw the Marcus Brownley's video, and the I just like Google is like finally catching up to the current level of hardware because in the past few Pixels always had good software.
Hmm.
People only bought Pixels because the software was like very good in terms of the Android software. But I think recently this hardware is also catching.
Okay. Okay. So talking about the now next topic that I'm going to talk about is about Intel and some topics about layoffs. So again, on 1st August, Intel again announced their earnings for the latest quarter, and their earnings were down 1% year over year. So it might not sound that it's a big value, just down on 1%, but still it's down. That itself is it's not a good news because usually profits, even, however low it might be, it's always on the positive direction, especially for companies like this. If you look at Microsoft, Apple, Nvidia, any major tech companies, revenues are always in the green area. That means they're already always rising. In some quarters, the rate of growth may be slow, but it's always positive. Intel here they have their year on year that revenue is down 1%. So that itself is a negative news, which the CEO himself admitted that this is not a good result, and they have announced a cost reduction plan. So in that, one of their action is to lay off 15% of their employees, which amounts to around 15,000. So that's one instance of layoff. Similarly, Cisco too, they also announced their earnings this month. I mean, the month of August 2024, which saw a decrease of 10% in their revenue. Again, they also, what did you say?
It's a 10% decrease in revenue.
Yes, 10% decrease in revenue. Again, they also announced cutting 7% of their total workforce. And Dell, I don't know if they announced the revenues or not. I haven't seen that, but they too announced laying off 10% of their workforce. So these are three very big names in the tech industry. One is hardware oriented, I think so. The others are more software oriented. They have their hardware parts as well, but yes, but majorly they all belong to this tech industry, and all of them 115%, 7%, 10%. So a huge amount of layoffs are going on here.
Mm.
And yes, talking about Intel, you previously mentioned once about some issues with the hardware. Can you just talk about it once again? If you
Yeah, so basically their 13th and 14th gen processors were facing some hardware issues. Some of like one
okay,
of the issue was it was basically rusting after use. Some it would iodize or some term like that, and it will not work. And one of the reasons is there is a faulty load mechanism where it could not distribute electricity properly,
okay.
among other issues.
So you also say that it has a risk of burning or some kind of explosion.
Not exactly explode. I mean, at the small scale, it will burn. The
Okay,
node which is getting more electricity will burn, and as a result, will stop working. But
okay,
I don't think it will cause explosion.
okay,
The thing is
okay,
that it may not immediately affect the CPU at once. Like you may have been using the processor for like 1 year, 2 years, but the issue is there, and it
mm,
might happen at any time.
okay, okay. So again, so there's another news with regarding Intel was that SoftBank, which is also I think so an investment firm, they initially had a plan to develop a co-develop a processor with Intel, but they canceled this plan, and their reason was that because Intel's failure to meet critical specifications. I think so. This might be one of the reasons which you have mentioned.
Mhm.
Maybe they had some issues regarding that. And okay, so coming to in Indian, so far I've discussed mostly about global business tech. So coming to some news regarding India's business and tech environment. So first, this month, Ola Electric decided to IPO, and
Mhm.
and so they already went. It happened during the first few days of August, and I think it's a big step. I'd say it's a new step for it's a new thing in India because uh, it's the first pure EV company, publicly traded EV company in India. We already know that Tata makes electric vehicles and many other companies are making, but these are traditionally uh, companies that made internal combustion engine cars, and now they are transitioning. But in India didn't have its own pure EV company till now. I mean, publicly traded EV company. So Ola Electric becomes the first one. They still make two-wheelers. I don't think they make any four-wheelers yet,
Yeah.
but
Mhm.
maybe in the future, who knows? But yes, and also, so this the trend about regarding EV started in the United States mostly, I think so, with Tesla. But China right now, China is leading this. I think so in electric vehicle manufacturing. So not only they make uh, electric vehicles for their own country, I think so. They also import in Europe as well. I think US right now, I don't remember whether they have banned it or they have put 100% tariffs in on Chinese electric vehicles, but it's not as much. Means US doesn't have much Chinese EVs, but in Europe they have, means China exports to Europe, and within China itself there are, I think so, somewhere I read more than 20 or 30 EV manufacturers. Not all of them are profitable, not all of them are well known, but the thing is that the fact that there is so many means which suggests that they are, means that the EV ecosystem is there in that country. I think so. In the long run, many of the companies will go bankrupt, will die out. Some of them will be acquired by the bigger companies. But the fact that there exist so many companies, it means that they have this ecosystem and they are leading the charge in electric vehicle manufacturing.
Yeah.
And another big news is regarding Reliance. They held their this annual AGM, the annual general meeting on 29th August. So they announced something regarding, there was some financial announcement, but some announcement regarding tech, this Geo AI cloud storage service, which they have announced that they will be providing 100 GB of cloud storage for free to each user, if I'm not wrong, something like that. And they also are they are also going to launch Geo TV OS, something. Yeah, what is it for exactly? So yes, they have their set-top box, don't they? Geo TV for,
Yeah, definitely agree with you.
yeah. So yes, I think so. I think so. It's going to be something like, and do Android have any a different operating system for TVs?
It's Android only, but for TV, so looks different, but it's Android.
Okay, I think so. It's going to be something similar to this.
Mm.
Okay, so that's it. And another news regarding Reliance is they are considering merging Geo Cinema with and Hotstar. So I think so these two are already,
With
they have a
with
very,
Hotstar, with
yes, with
Hotstar,
Hot, yes, yes,
but Hotstar is already merged with Disney.
yes. But I don't know, but that's what I'm confused about. Means again, somewhere I read that Reliance already owns Hotstar. Means I
They
think so.
already own.
Disney is, yes. Disney is in a. I don't think Disney owns Hotstar, but I think they are in a partnership. Actually, I have to look into the how this, who owns whom at this moment. But somewhere I read that Reliance already owns Hotstar, but they too have they still have these two different apps. They're trying to merge these two apps into a single app, and yes, that's what their plan is right now. Let me just look into it. Who owns Hotstar? Hotstar Hotstar is owned by Novi Digital Entertainment Private Limited, a wholly owned subsidiary of Star India Private Limited. Okay. Uh, okay. But Star was acquired by Walt Disney in 2019. Okay. And Disney has planned to form the merger with Reliance Industries. So let me share this.
Here, I'm also looking at it. It says Disney plus Hotstar, the top streaming service owned by Reliance Industries and Disney India.
Okay. Again, yes, in this screen as well, Disney has planned to form the merger with Reliance Industries, in which uh, hoping this entire joint ventures will eventually uh, merge Disney Hotstar with. So again, on 20th August, the CCI has approved the merger of Disney plus Hotstar by committee. Okay, so maybe they will eventually merge.
Hmm.
Okay, so that was about the regarding business and tech. And next, some data. I had some data somewhere. Okay, so some data regarding funding, startup funding. I will try to share it now. Okay. So if you look at this, are you able to see this?
It's not visible yet.
It's not.
It will take some time. Not visible yet.
Okay. Is it now?
Not yet.
So were you able to see the previous screen that I shared, the Wikipedia page?
It took some time to. And I can see it now.
Okay. Okay. So if you look at this table below, that's the amount of that's the uh, weekly amount of funding that happened in India. Okay,
Okay. So where are
so
this data coming from?
I've taken this from a website called Entricker. So this is the link here. So eventually I'm going to publish all of this on the blog with proper links. But okay, if you did, so this is the source from Entricker, and they themselves have uh, they themselves got this data from another website called thecredible.com or was it thecredible.in. Okay, so these are the weekly data, and these numbers are in millions. So on from in the week of 29 July to 3 August, the total funding was 341.4 million US dollars, and a total of 32 deals, which I think it means 32 companies got the funding in total. So if you look at the monthly, it's around 1.5 billion dollars this week. And if you look at the monthly trends, so this one covers the monthly
So,
trends.
so why is it that
Okay.
one week it's very high, then another week it's less than a second week again it's high?
Yes, even I can see this pattern here. This is on 307, 177, again 400, again 144, again 490. I don't know why this is happening. It's an interesting observation, but really I don't have much idea why this is happening. But yes, overall it is 1.58 billion. Again, if you look at the monthly investing data for the past 1 year, again taken from the same website and tracker, uh, you can see the similar kind. Again, there's ups and downs even in the monthly data as well. So the last month on July it was 1.3 billion, and this month it's 1.58 billion. And if you look at this, if you look at 2024, the highest was in the month of June, 1.93 billion dollars. So, and if you look at city wise, so far I've shown you the number of deals, but now I'm going to talk about the city wise distributions. Which city got how many deals? So if you look, Bangalore, they top by quite a huge number. Total out of the total 110 deals that happened this I'm not talking about the total of 100. I'm just giving the top. In here, I mentioned that there are 138, and but here there is only 110. That's because there are some cities which I have not included here because some cities startups from some cities receive funding on only one week. So there's only one, and there's not much data for all the 4 weeks. So I've excluded them. Only the top six, I think so. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, only top six cities. So out of the 138 deals, 51 of them came went 50, came from Bangalore. At the second, there is Delhi, third Mumbai, fourth Pune, fifth Chennai, and sixth Hyderabad. So yes, that's the distribution. But now if you look at the same now, so this was the data for India. Now if I show you the data of US, I'm going to show you the data of US. And you'll be surprised the difference. You'll be okay. Again, the numbers are okay. So we look at the first week. In the first week itself, they have received funding of almost 3 billion, over 3 billion. So
Mhm.
more than twice the amount that India has got in the whole month, 1.5. It's almost twice. 1.3 3,000 is twice of 1,500. So they have
So
in the
is there
first week.
is there information on how this, like, is it foreign investment or like what kind of investment is it?
Yes, okay. In the website, it was given that okay, I took this data from Crunchbase. Okay, so some data is there about who. Okay, if you look at the latest one, for example, this Magic 320. Okay, this you can see that it raised 320 million from investors, including Eric Schmidt. I think so. He was the former CEO of Google. Then this Sequoia Capital, which is a VC company, and so on. So yes, you can see that these are the various uh, sources of funding. So and now the thing is that these are if you look at venture capitals, they themselves raise funds. But and right now I don't know that whether those funds come all from Americans or from other countries as well. So that I'm not sure of, but yeah, that requires much more in-depth research for that. But again, coming back to this, okay. Uh, then again, on the second week, they raised in a total of 1.1 billion. These are in thousand millions. That means it's
Yeah.
1 billion, 127 million, and so on. So in each of the 4 weeks, they raised more than $1 billion in US. And one notable deal is this one, Anduril. Have you heard of this company, Anduril, before?
I have not.
It's a very interesting company. It's a defense company. It was, I think so. And the founder of this company is the one who created the go, those VR glasses, Oculus,
Okay,
which
I may have heard of this company.
is the Oculus, and that person. I think so. It was acquired by Meta eventually, and that's the person who founded this
Mhm.
company. And they themselves have raised the funding of 1.5 billion. So again, it's almost as equal as the one India's all the startups combined in India raised in the whole month, and they alone have raised 1.5 billion. And this itself is the second highest funding in US this year. The highest was 6 billion by Grok, the
Yeah.
AI made X,
Mhm.
owned by Elon Musk. So 6 billion. They raised $6 billion this month. Not this month. This year. I think it was in May or June, or maybe even earlier than that. I forgot the date, but it was this year. So this 1.5 billion funding is the second highest this month. Oh, sorry, this year. Okay, so yeah, this was some data regarding that, and where's my editorial? So I covered this business and tech. So there are plans that I'm going to talk about, write about this in the future. But again, just two more points that I think so. One more point I'm going to talk about is this one. At the beginning of this month, there was a drop in most of the major stock markets in the world because
Mhm.
of this something happened in Japan, and which I think so. Yes, something happened there. regarding financially, not any physical event.
Mhm.
And because of this, there was panic throughout the markets, and people started to uh, sell their stock, and there is a huge drop. If I show you, but yes, again, before I show you more, talk about one more thing. Yes, and it was down quite a bit. And if you, then I searched a few videos on YouTube regarding this matter, and people are coming out with very clickbaity kind of titles that the fall is here, the end is near, and those kind of things.
Mhm.
Uh, those kind of things. But eventually, what happened is that after 2 or 3 days, it all came back, and now it's actually, if you I've given some numbers as well. Most of the major indices are actually up so far. Now, if I show you graphically, it will make much sense. This is 1 month. If you look at, have you seen this fall from fifth, from first to fifth? Have you seen this one? Are you seeing this?
Yeah, I can say.
Yes, but that's it. If you look at, if you are standing here in 5th of August, so you can see this huge drop, and people
Mhm.
are talking all kinds of things here. But eventually, it doesn't even look like anything in the long run. At the end, if I look at the year to date, this is what I'm talking about. So things are eventually going up, up, up. Initially going up, there is a sudden drop, and then now it's going up again. Means yes, yeah. If you look at Indian, that's again same. In the first few days, there drop, and eventually it will start picking up. If you look at year-to-date performance from the 1st of January, again, a slight drop and it's moving up. So in the grand scheme of things, it wasn't anything. But let
Mhm.
me just show you what kind of videos I made. Mm, yeah. Can you see this kind of titles?
Are you sharing the screen? I can. I
This
still
is where the
see
market.
the. I still see Nifty 50 starting.
You can see this YouTube video or YouTube.
No, maybe like stop sharing and share again.
Okay. Now can you see this?
If you need some time out, it's showing a blank screen.
Okay. Can you see anything?
It's all visible.
Okay. Is anything visible now?
Not yet. Maybe I'll search it myself on YouTube.
Okay.
But,
Yes. Anyhow, the point I was trying to make is
okay,
that
I can see it now.
is it coming?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So if you see this title, it
Mm-hmm.
just broke the US stock market. So I've just shown you what was broke. Nothing was broke.
Yeah.
And
But this guy is like a very
it was for
clickbaiting
this
YouTuber also.
Graham Stephen.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is a real estate investor. Okay. Another one. This one. I think. Okay. I have seen if I'm not, I have not seen a lot of his videos, but I've seen him interviewing or talking to Elon Musk once. This one, then this YouTuber.
Yeah.
So
I've also seen
I
him.
don't know if he's. What did you say?
I've also seen him interview. He's more of a what should I say? Like a I mean, he
Entertainer.
is an investor, but he is more of an entertainer now. Yes, more of a host.
Okay. Okay.
His job is to like create content and this thing.
Okay. Yes. So at the same time, I'm not. Yes, saying that they are entirely wrong. Means okay, this thing actually happened that for 2 or 3 days, it had shown a very high decline. That's
Mm.
true. But the thing is that, and they, I think so. If you look at this, I think so. They was made on that day itself. Let me look at the date. It's 5th August. The day it happened, he made a video on that same day.
Mm.
So that's the thing that happens most of the time, and that's why I like to for this kind of things. I like to wait for at least a few days, because to analyze something, you have to look at what happened for a few days, because only then you'll be able to analyze it. Now,
But their goal
looking
is
back,
different. Right?
yes, exactly means they just want to something big happen. That was the news of that moment, and just make some kind of thing and to get it. Okay, so that's what happened, and they get it. Then yes, it got on. It is getting nearly a million views. So yes, but again, similarly, this is talking about the same topic, but it's I think so it's going to be a more detailed one. What is Japanese yen carry trade? Who is going to it has only 16K views,
Mm.
so nobody's going to see this. But if you create this kind of videos, but there are more. I think so. I haven't watched much of their videos, so I can't say how legitimate they are. But some people that I do know are much more. Uh, but I forgot their names. Yes. How? And so even he made one video, but it was a few days. Yes, this is the same video. I think so. He changed the name of this title. This video
Mm.
is like milk. I think so. He changed the name of this title of this video. But anyway, the point he was trying to make was that the thing that happened. It's many people attributing this downfall in the market to this Japanese yen carry trade, which was the reason, which is something that happened prior to this one. But in this video, he talked about in much more detail that a lot of things were behind this thing, and nobody is exactly sure why it happened, but a lot of factors were behind this fall. And I think so, when something ages like milk, it means that it hasn't aged well. So I think so that's the main. So yes, that's one of the reasons. So yes, one of this. But this is one of the much more. I think so. I would say much more educated opinion that I heard about this video. And another, I forgot the name of this person. What was his name? Patrick Boyd. Yes. and he draws men. I thought he has it. Yep, this one. This is the video crash. Even, and I think he's one of the more legitimate ones among the people who talks about these topics. So his one was also a much more educated opinion on this topic. And the ones, and he talks in a similar way that uh, it is much more complicated. So yes, about what happened. I mean, what led to this event. So in the future, I may write about this as well. So that was that, and I think in terms of in the area of business tech, economy, and finance, these four major areas, these are the highlights. I think so. From my point of view, these are the highlights that I found for this month. So that was it. But when I write me in my editorial, I might include a few more things, which yes, I might include a few more things which are not so worthy enough to talk about, but yeah, I can still write about it. So that was from me. That is what I want to discuss. So
I
anything?
was actually, yeah, I
Yes,
was
go on.
actually looking into the EV market also. I did not do much research. I have found a few like reports or so, but I didn't go through them. But generally speaking, I am hearing both opposite, like polar opposite views. Like some are saying EV market is going down, some are saying it is thriving. So, like, what is the actual true case here?
Yes, from one of yes, I have also heard this kind of things that claims that it's slowing down. So the things that one thing is to slow down, and another thing is to be going negative. So the slowdown, I'm not sure why it's happening. Even I'm curious about that too, and I plan to look into it further. But on the other side, there have been initiatives. If you look at India itself, there have been multiple initiatives by the government to push towards electric vehicles. There have been some subsidies given, at least at the commercial, maybe not in the consumer level. I'm not sure if there are, but at the commercial level, commercial vehicles, there are subsidies. Means if you buy electric vehicles, you you'll get it you'll get it at a cheaper rate. So those kind of the existence of this kind of subsidies means that there has been push towards adoption of electric vehicles. That's one thing, and even and if you look at the other things, the over the past few weeks, or sorry, months, and or probably even a couple of years, that I've been hearing that many companies are setting targets. Like if you look at the more bigger companies like Mercedes and those things, they're also setting targets that by some this year or that year, by 2030 or 2040, all our cars will be all electric, and many companies are having those kind of targets. So on the one hand, we have
Mhm.
those kind of those kind of initiatives we are pushing towards EV, and on the other hand, there is this kind of data as well that yes, EV sales are down and so on and so forth. So I'm not sure what's happening. Eventually, I think so. It is going to be EV, but again, if so, it might sound like a conspiracy, but it can be a tactic from the Western companies or the from the West in general, that since China is leading the EV race, so if you can create a perception about that, no, EV is not, don't, they're trying not hype up EV,
Mhm.
because suppose your rival is better than you, and then you'll try to downplay, hey, I don't like it anyway. Suppose you lost a fight to someone, you'll say that no, I don't like boxing anyways. Okay, let him
Mhm.
win. And I'm not good at it anyways. And he'll try to downplay this thing. So, and yes, as I'm saying, it might sound like a conspiracy, but it can also be that it can be one of the reasons that they might be trying to push this kind of agenda so that the demand for Chinese EV falls, and in the meantime they're able to ramp up their own production, so that once their production is high, they will again change the narrative that, oh yes, no, EVs are actually the future. So there's just speculative. What I just said right now is speculative. There's just my opinion, but there is one kind of explanation that comes to my mind. I'm not sure, but I have to do. Yes, I'm interested in this area as well, so I plan to do look more into it in the future. So do you have anything to say? So I think we can end it for today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stop it now.
Okay.